Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, this is Nathalie with another episode of Vitiligo Friends. I'm glad that you could join us today. Today I'd like to discuss the effects that stress has on vitiligo and how it actually can cause vitiligo. My guest today is a really good friend of mine, Joanne Giovanni.
Hello.
Hello. Joanne and I have known each other for about 5 years now, and I took a class by her, a stress management class that really helped me a lot. So when I thought about doing this episode, she was the first person on my mind to call and get her expert advice. Joanne, could you please talk to us a little bit about stress and how it affects our body? Because when I have read that vitiligo is triggered by stress, it made sense to me because I have always felt some kind of underlying stress in my life, not feeling that I blended in with everybody, not feeling liked, all these different things that can cause low levels of stress, all the time. But the one thing that never settled easy with me was the fact that little children get vitiligo. Babies have vitiligo. And so it didn't add up to me because, how is a baby going to have stress? How is a little child going to have stress? And then after taking your class, it dawned on me that stress in itself, the feelings that I get of anger, anxiety, whatever, aren't the real issue here. The real issue is what's going on physiologically when I feel stress and how my body's dealing with it. So if a baby felt, if we say a baby had stress in the womb, it was because something was going wrong during the pregnancy with its growth, or if there was a traumatic incident. Or for a little child, if something traumatic might have happened to the body. And so that's how the body responded with this stress on the body, not just mental stress, but on the body. So it would be great if you could explain exactly how stress affects us physically and mentally.
Thank you. I'll be happy to. Sounds like you could take over for me, girl.
No, gosh, no.
Actually, that is very true. We have all kinds of stress. And when you were talking about children, there could be a physical stress. There could be a chemical stress, like you mentioned earlier, that happens in the womb as a small child. Teenagers, adults, we all have stress on our body. And when a stress episode happens, whether it's something huge or something minor, you get stress hormones just coursing through your body, epinephrine, norepinephrine, cortisol, aldosterone, the list goes on and on. But picture it as little soldiers running through your body and your immune system, and they're there to protect you. Well, every stress that happens, every time you have something traumatic, whether it's something physical like an accident, an actual physical accident or damage to the body, or mental, something emotional, a breakup, a divorce, whatever, the same thing happens. You still get those hormones going through your body. And when this happens, if you picture little soldiers as your immune system, they do get knocked down. Okay, they get taken out, if you will. And the more stress, the more little soldiers fall down. When the little soldiers fall down, germs, toxins, mutant cells are allowed into your body. And as this happens, then they kind of root and take home, and they stay there. Stress can stay in your body, days, weeks, months, as you learned in my class. The best thing then to alleviate that is to keep a strong immune system. If your immune system is compromised or weakened, then the bad cells can take over and start to grow. In vitiligo, it sounds like the good cells actually, or your good soldiers actually turn around then and attack some of the cells that help you with the skin pigment and stuff, if I understand that correctly.
That's what they say, right.
So the stronger your immune system is, then hopefully you've got that covered. You've got a little grid of soldiers protecting you. It keeps you safe from colds and flus and all kinds of diseases. The more weakened we get, the easier it is for the germs and the diseases to take hold of itself.
So in vitiligo, because it's not a source outside my body that's coming in and attacking the cells, it's actually my own body attacking, then when I've experienced repigmentation, what would cause that? That my body is now the chemicals are balancing out.
It could be that your cells are regrowing. You know, and every time you have any kind of a stressful situation, it causes the cells to either not rejuvenate, grow, heal themselves. In that case, it could be the fact that you are producing new cells and they are pigmented cells, and so you can see some improvement with the skin coloration. Medically, I am not sure exactly what happens with that, but as far as the stress is concerned, anytime you have a relaxation moment or a time for healing, cells grow, and your body can totally grow a whole new body. So why can't it then, in turn, be growing on the cells that cause the pigment problem?
Right. Well, and that's a really good point, because with vitiligo, it's a gene that we have. My sister maybe has it. My dad, let's take it down my dad's family line. None of them show vitiligo, but I did. And that has to be, if there is a vitiligo stress correlation, then we have to say that something triggers it. Sometimes, and all vitiligos, not all, but there's many different types of vitiligo per se, like what the triggers are, then that turn off or on the gene to allow pigmentation. So perhaps, in my case, it is a case where the way that I handle stress affects my body negatively, because, and this was something that I just love learning in your class, is that it's not those moments of fight or flight where you are, let's say you're in a car accident, or someone scares you and you feel this burst of energy, and then that's when all the chemicals and hormones are just going crazy in your body, giving you strength, the power to run, power to do anything, super physical. Those aren't the moments that we're talking about. What we're talking about in this case is low levels of stressors, the chemicals, constantly running through my body. And so because that's how I handle stress, that may be how my gene got turned on versus my sister. Maybe my sister, when she gets angry, or maybe if she didn't feel liked, rather than thinking what's wrong with her and feeling the stress and sadness about that, maybe she just said, what's wrong with everybody else?
Right.
Or maybe she didn't internalize it, and so then she didn't have these low levels of stress constantly running.
I was just going to say, or maybe it came out in a different way. You don't know how stress is going to affect any two people, whether they're like, well, let me ask you this. You said nobody else in your family has any.
Nobody.
Okay, when did you first start?
My vitiligo first appeared when I was 30, and I had just had my third child. So then there's something too. Perhaps it was the birth of that third child. Also going on with my body at that time, unbeknownst to me, was my thyroid was going bad. And so I started experiencing the symptoms of a low thyroid, but I didn't know what was going on. So for about 4 months, I was experiencing heart palpitations, not sweating. I couldn't sweat. That was the thing, because it was 115 degrees in Dallas, and my body couldn't sweat. So then I would overheat, and then I would feel like I was going to pass out. Well, that happened to me twice, and then after that, I was afraid to go outside. I would have to push myself to go to the grocery store because I didn't want to experience those feelings again, and I didn't want to pass out. I didn't want to. There's so many things going through my head that stopped me from actually going out until one day I was just like, I'm not going to leave my house. And because I was too afraid of passing out or something happening and knowing what was going on, so they couldn't help me. All these crazy, when your chemicals are off balance, you really feel like you're going crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't understand what's happening to your body, first off, because you're not having real physiological effects.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But on top of that, you've got your brain going, something's not right, and I'm afraid, and I don't know what to do with this. And so finally, I the next day I called, went to a therapist, and she said, you know what, first I went to my doctor and found out that I had hypothyroidism. And I told him that I was afraid to leave the house. And he said, I understand because of the symptoms that you're feeling, that would be scary. But you need to go to a therapist so that you can work this out because, it's not healthy to not go out of your house. So I went to a therapist. Like this all happened within a matter of days. It just was really quick. And then when I went to the therapist, she said that she was either going to offer me medication or she could teach me self-hypnosis. Well, I hated medication. I've always hated medication.
As do I.
And the thought of self-hypnosis is very intriguing, and I believe in that kind of thing. I like that stuff. So I was like, that's what I'll try. And she said, okay, but if it doesn't work, you have to promise me that you will go on the medication. Well, mind over matter, one session that day, she had me close my eyes. She went through the whole technique and she told me to, practice this. I had to have these good thoughts in my head. She talked me into it. I drove home rather than my sister who dropped me off. And I was fine. I'm not saying I was 100% better, but I was 90% better. And, it progressed from there. And I think that was the time where my vitiligo started to just come out a little bit more. But it naturally would, because those feelings of anxiety and that constant fear was just releasing low levels of chemicals all the time throughout the day. And it was my body in that fight or flight, but with nothing to do with the chemicals.
Exactly. That was excellent, by the way.
Thank you so very much.
No wonder you got an A in my class.
That's because I took you out to lunch. I know.
The one thing you
said,
though,
library
is that the body really wants to heal itself. We are a wonderful organism here.
Well, and mind you that, I practice not every day, but, I was got into the habit of when I would go to sleep, I would, this is like 4 years ago, got into the habit of when I would lie down, I would think of my chakras and imagine them spinning. Roy G. Biv, red, orange, green, yellow, blue, indigo, violet. And I would take each one, spin it, and sometimes I thought I was crazy, like what the hell is this really going to do? But I stopped taking my, Synthoid. I don't recommend that to everybody. I'm not recommending that. I'm just saying this was my case. I stopped taking my Synthoid, and I felt fine. I don't know why I did. I just felt fine, so I stopped taking it. Again, I'm not endorsing that. And then a year and a half later, I met up with an old high school friend. He was a doctor, and we were just talking about life and, what's been going on. And I told him about that episode with the thyroidism and everything. And I said, but, I think it healed itself because I feel just fine now, and I haven't taken medication in, almost 18 months. And he's like, what? And I said, well, no, I feel fine. He's like, you have to go get tested just to be sure because that's very dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, all right, but, I feel fine. I would know, I'm not having any heart palpitations or panic attacks or anything. And he's like, no, look, you need to come into my office. I'm going to check it. So I went in, he checked it. And then a couple days later, he drew blood, and then a couple days later, gave me a call. And I was apprehensive to pick up the phone because I thought, man, what if I'm wrong?
Yeah.
What if my damn thyroid didn't heal itself? Because I didn't tell anybody about it, but in my mind, I was kind of proud of myself because I thought I healed myself.
Sure.
And so when he said, your thyroid is just fine, and I've never seen anything like this, it just doesn't normally heal itself, I said, yes, that's what I did.
Yes.
Roy G. Biv all the way. But that was, there was a lot of work that went on from the stuff that you taught in class, meditations, not so much like when you say stress, we're not saying in every situation you're not allowed to have outbursts, because you're going to react how you're going to react. And actually, that's probably even better to have an outward outburst rather than internalizing everything.
Well, the internalizing stays with you so much longer. It becomes chronic, and that's what's going to hurt your immune system.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it has to get out one way or another. And you had asked about, different forms of coping techniques, relaxation techniques.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to talk about next. I wanted you to just, you're reading my mind.
Yeah. I had just read an article before I came over here yesterday or the day before about somebody who had hives a lot, and the doctor asked, what's going on in your life, what's the stressor, couldn't find anything, and it turned out, of course, there was something going on in her life. When you look deep enough, there's probably something going on.
Did they say?
It was, relationship issues, only she didn't.
They'll get you every time.
Yes, they will.
My gosh.
She didn't realize that it was what would be causing her.
We should have plugged our book right there.
Oh,
sorry.
Well, we can. And actually, she wound up, the relationship ended and her hives went away. And so it's like, does the body really heal itself? If those stressors go away, will some of those symptoms and allergies and illnesses go away? Well, there are stories that prove that to be true.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you know that as well. Did you want to talk about some of the techniques? Or
I do. Yeah, okay. We have 12 minutes, so that's a great amount of time for us to discuss the different techniques that I would love for you to talk about. One, how to handle stress in an immediate situation. I've got road rage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to hide that. I get so mad. I don't do anything to people. I don't go right up on their bumper or, do anything. I yell at them in my car, but they can't hear me, thank goodness, because it's not pretty. But if you have a method to, bring yourself back to earth, because, I get so mad when there's slow drivers, and I don't even have anywhere to go, in particular. I'm going to Target or something. Yeah. But if somebody's driving 25 and a 30, I get so angry. And I can feel all the effects, the physiological effects of that. My blood rushing in my arms, my heart pounding. I better not give myself a heart attack.
No, you won't.
That'd be insane. So it would be great if we could talk about the two things. One, how to deal with stressors in the immediate that they're happening, and also things that we can do long term that maybe people could potentially begin doing on their own to try to, if not reverse the effects of vitiligo, perhaps stave off any new showing white patches. Mm-hmm. Take it away. A lot of times when you talk about that immediate stress, it happens so fast you don't even have time to even say, oh, I shouldn't be mad right now. It really does. But a lot of it. And we all know we shouldn't be, even as we're yelling. Yeah. I know. I tell myself, this is stupid. I'm yelling. I'm pounding the steering wheel just to go buy something. Shampoo at Target or whatever it is. I got to buy my shampoo now. Yeah.
But remember in class I talked about baby steps a lot and about setting boundaries.
Love that.
And about having a plan.
Yes.
Okay. A lot of times it's just knowing that, okay, I have a plan that I'm going to follow. And my plan is I listen to books on tape because I know my road rage totally goes away when I'm listening to something else. I don't listen to music that gets me riled up. I listen to softer music. The counting to 10, some people laugh at it. Some people just say it never works for me. It doesn't work for me. I can't now. But I know people who say they have to take a step back and just say, I will get mad after I think about this. And after they give it that 2 or 3 seconds of thought, it really doesn't make it quite as cruel or as abrupt, as loud, if you can just give yourself 3 seconds to think what you're going to do.
You know, I am not one to have outbursts of anger if I'm face-to-face. Like if you did something that hurt my feelings, I would never yell at you and get in your face about it. Thank goodness. Right?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Or with people arguing, you know, I'm just not, I just don't vocalize that. I internalize that a lot when I'm angry or upset about something. And maybe that kind of stress when I'm in my car and the road rage is okay in this case because I don't carry it throughout my life. I don't react to all situations of not being number one in the world at that moment by screaming and yelling, and so maybe that's okay that I do that. So I'm not going to chastise myself for getting mad and having my road rage until I start, going up on people's bumpers and stuff. But I know a lot of people probably do.
Oh, you can get in big trouble for that anger, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. What do you do? I mean, because I know you're kind of my idol as far as the meditations and chakras. And
I really do, yeah.
You do. You follow that dream.
I do love it.
It's become your passion, if I can use that word.
Yes, you may.
So, and you teach yoga, and so you've already got a lot of tools right there to use as a coping technique or a relaxation technique. And you allow your body and your immune system to heal by some of the things you're doing already.
It's just magical how you segue into things. All right, so that's one of the things I was going to ask you at the end of the show, but we'll go ahead and do it now, is my next week's show is Yoga Therapy for Vitiligo, the effects of exercise on your body and healing yourself.
Excellent.
If you would love to come back and join me either next week, well, hopefully next week. I could postpone it if you can't come next week, but that would just be great. Check your calendar. Tell me now in 5 seconds.
5 seconds?
Oh, you don't want to tell me right now?
Oh, no, I can do it. I didn't know I had 5 seconds to tell you. I'd love to do it. I love it. This is great. And I think it's really important for people to understand that whether you have vitiligo, whether you have allergies, whether your face breaks out, you have hair loss,
or any other autoimmune disease.
Yeah, any other.
There's so many autoimmune diseases.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, if I can keep my immune system as healthy and as strong as I possibly can I stop where this is at right now? Can I, can something go away? Can I heal myself? And, studies have shown, yeah, you certainly can.
And, one of the worst things about vitiligo is that, okay, let's say that I only have it on my hands, well, and a little on my face and stuff, but, this is what bugs me. I always have in the back of my mind, what if I get my whole arm? What if my whole body starts, you've always got that insecurity of what the future may hold with the vitiligo. And by practicing relaxation techniques, stress-relieving techniques, even if it doesn't reverse what we already have, at least we can be comforted that we're working towards not letting it go any further.
Right. And taking the handle out of it. The best thing about that is you have control. The minute you say, I'm going to do this, you've taken that ball back in your court. Mm-hmm. And you're going to take care of your own health. And it's your decision. It's not that uncertainty of what if this runs up my arm? What if this gets more on my face? That might happen. You don't know. But just knowing that you're doing everything you possibly can, and especially letting nature help, like you said, it's not a drug. It's not anything where it's, it might have some side effects or something like that. Everything we're talking about is letting the body heal itself, whether it's a nice deep 15 to 20 minute meditation where your body will totally relax and start to heal itself and grow new cells and all that. Acupuncture, some chiropractic care. If you think about what your brain is sending messages down your central nervous system, but there's a subluxation or something blocking that, and you get an adjustment or something, and all of a sudden it's not blocking it. Don't your systems all
that is such an
better?
Excellent idea. I never even thought about that. I mean, on my website, people leave comments, and that's kind of how they communicate. We all communicate together via that. That's why I started a Facebook page as well, Vitiligo Friends on Facebook, because I was hoping that people could see each other and then talk, because it's easier to chat, on Facebook with each other. But there's a big community on vitiligocover.com. Little plug.
I caught that.
Shameless plug. And they do. They communicate very well together. Completely lost my train of thought there.
And so you were talking about healing and.
Oh, so they do exchange ideas on healing and things that they do to try and heal the vitiligo, such as going to a homeopathic doctor or or trying different ointments or going to the dermatologist and trying different things that we try to do surface-wise. Whereas I've never discussed or even thought about, and maybe other people have, that'd be great. If anybody wants to call in right now to talk with us or to share any stories that you have on stress relief methods that you have, give us a call at 1-858-769-4727, and we'll be very happy to take your call. All right, so we were talking about methods of healing that are in the vein that we're used to talking about, and but the acupuncture and what was the other one that you said?
I said meditation, chiropractic care.
Chiropractic care. That seems so obvious because those do align the energies in your body.
Mm-hmm. Everything comes from that brain, right?
People think that that's kind of hokey to talk about energy systems in your body and stuff. But when you break it down, that's all we are. That's all we are. Energy.
Mm-hmm.
At the very core of everything on Earth, it's energy.
Mm-hmm.
So why would we think it is so,
people
out there?
They think it's like something back in the 60s, some weird thing, if you talk about my body is all energies and negative energy and positive energies. But you know what? It's been proven by just different parts of the body, and you can tell when something's not right with your body. It's not getting the right signals.
Mm-hmm.
When your back hurts, when something hurts, it's like, okay, is some system, out of whack? Is it not responding properly?
And so, speaking of that, like when you go to the chiropractor, then maybe it's not just that they're popping those bones into places. It's because then your body is set back in alignment.
Mm-hmm.
And give us one more quick method. Meditation. What would you suggest to do to start off? Meditate.
I just think the best thing is to find that spot where you're comfortable and make sure that you are, as comfortable and have beautiful slow music going that relaxes you. You'll find what works for you. And just let that body heal. Let it relax. Fall into that deep state. Sometimes it helps to picture yourself in a tranquil area with water, whatever works. Light candles. Have water, a little waterfall going or something. Anything that'll help pull you back down to that calm.
And even if you think that sounds a little bit hokey, because I remember some people in the class, when I took your stress management class, thought that, it's kind of weird that we were going to, meditate, quote, unquote. I'm doing air quotes. And, but the fact is if you just lie down and allow thoughts, if you get a thought, you can't respond to that thought. It can come in, but you just don't do anything about it. Even that action alone is meditating, relaxing, whatever you want to call it. And those will all help you, too. So,
and there's so many more. You'll just have to have me back.
I'm going to have you back all the time. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today, Joanne.
Well, thank
you.
You.
It was great talking. my dear.
Thank you.
And I'd like to thank my great friend Matt James for allowing me to use his part of the music for my opening segment. I'd love for you to visit my website, vitiligocover.com, and join us on Facebook and Twitter on that site. You'll see the links to that. And thank you to our sponsor, shop.vitiligocover.com. Next week, we're going to talk about yoga therapy for vitiligo and the effects of exercise. And our wonderful Joanne will be back again to talk with us and enlighten us. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you later. Stay warm. Bye.